Hello once again and welcome to Euroman's Movie Report. This week I have watched Fright Night 2011 version. As it indicates, Fright Night was originally a 1985 horror teen film like many others of these horror films which came out in the 1980s. It reminded me, the original, it reminded me a bit like the Michael J. Fox Teen Wolf and Pet Sematary and all the other films which came out in the 1980s. But what sets Fright Night apart from all the others is the whole it's hard to explain, but Fright Night it had several undertones. Like Evil Ed, he was supposed to be, as I have had it explained, a homosexual, and the whole thing that Jerry, the vampire, the original Jerry, he was he used his vampirism to seduce both men and women. And of course, in the original, Evil Ed is seduced into by Jerry to become a vampire / werewolf. And it had the whole the whole 1980s sexual thing and all that, but I guess you know that film already. But then came the 2011 version, which I watched in theaters a couple of days ago. And compared to the original, gone were the homosexual undertones and replaced by the more clean 2000s type of way of expressing things. And and the 2011 version, it was okay. We had what was his name, Anton Yelchin as Charlie Brewster, and the guy Christopher Mintz-Plasse as Ed. And one thing that I noticed, that they removed them. They just called him Ed, not Evil Ed, and I don't know why they changed that, but that's a minor detail. But the whole thing has been updated, the 2011 version has been updated to 2011, and they now he lives in Las Vegas, where together with his mom Charlie, and then Jerry, played by, I think, what was his name, Colin Farrell? Yeah, Colin Farrell, of course. Colin Farrell, who he moves in, and he is hyper-sexualized, and he uses his creepy attitude, his sex offender attitude, to entice both Charlie's mother and Charlie's girlfriend for a moment. And then the whole thing, unlike in the original film, Ed is more, he isn't feminine like he was in the original, and of course he's played by McLovin from that other comedy, Ed, and then Ed he comes to Charlie and says to him, Charlie, your neighbor is a vampire. And, excuse me, just have to get some Coca-Cola. And then Charlie, who has become quite a douchebag. He has rejected his nerd roots to get this hot, very luscious 18-something teen girlfriend, and therefore he has rejected his nerd past, and then he doesn't want to listen to Ed. And then the whole thing, that's a bit interesting. We have this Charlie, who unlike the original Charlie, isn't an social outcast, and he has joined the cool kids, and thus he has rejected his outcast past, and that is interesting in my opinion, because that sets this thing is quite new, according to compared to the original film. And when we have it's of course revealed that Jerry, he is a vampire, he attacks Ed, and the whole thing, it takes its course, and then Charlie, of course, starts to discover that maybe there is something about Ed's accusations regarding Jerry. And then we meet, of course, Peter Vincent, played by the guy who used to play Doctor Who, David Tennant. David Tennant, who has turned out to be a very capable actor, in my opinion. And I have seen him in a couple of films, but he has been quite good in all the roles I have seen. And with him. And he plays Peter Vincent. The original Peter Vincent in the original Fright Night movie from 1985. He was an old, dusty British type of man who was a coward. And the Peter Vincent in the new version of Fright Night, of course played by David Tennant, he is more, what do we call it? He's still a coward, but he's more. He's portrayed differently. He's more, in a way, he's more brave. His cowardness comes from, and here's a spoiler, that his parents had been killed by a vampire, and of course, regarding who the vampire was, who killed his parents, is given to us or hinted at the end, and. Okay, and yeah, and of course the special effects has been updated to 2011, and the 3D. I must say that the 3D in Fright Night 2011 was quite impressive, and you really felt when the blood was splattering out in your face, or the scene we have seen from the trailer when excuse me, just have to get some more Coca-Cola. When Jerry throws the motorbike, the whole 3D effect, it was good. I must say, of all the films I have seen here in 2011, the 3D effects in Fright Night compared to other 3D films I have seen here in 2011 were quite good. And it's funny because according to IMDb, for the budget on Fright Night 2011 version, it was significantly smaller than the other 3D films. So maybe they should use a little less money on the films and more on the content. More money on the content instead of paying a lot for other films with other parts of the film production which don't make the film any better. So that's a whole other story. But again, the acting was quite good. It was good to see an updated version, and gone was the homosexual undertones from the original to 1985 version, and that was. I don't want to say anything bad about that. So, but. I must say I liked the 2011 version more than the 1985 version. But again, the music was good, and it had good scares, and it wasn't a splatter film. In that opinion, there was some blood, but not too much. And if I'm gonna rate Fright Night, I would say, yeah. It wasn't fantastic, it wasn't bad, so I would say 3.5 out of 5 Coca-Cola bottles. So, yeah. That's it. This is Euroman of Euroman's Movie Report signing off and wishing everyone a pleasant weekend, and I'll return in the next video.